gang, it's Jeff Black again, your BFP Dream Builder from Beechmont Ford Performance. And man, we have been pretty doggone busy around here at Beechmont Ford Performance. I've got two builds that we just finished up that I'm putting into the same video for a couple of reasons. One, right off the bat, both of these customers are from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Now, they're not exactly right next to one another, but one of them was from Williamstown, Kentucky, and the other one from Corbin, Kentucky. So not that far apart, really. Jim and Kevin both wanted to do a supercharged build here with the Roush Phase 2 supercharger. So I wanted to kind of focus today on telling you a little bit about the Roush supercharger and some of the questions that I get a lot of times when people are considering a build. So I don't know that I've covered some of this before. Now, I will say, you know, I always mention that the Roush supercharger is rated at 750 horsepower, 670 foot-pounds of torque. Now that's like 300 horsepower over the stock rating. So it is definitely a nice increase. And we here at Beechmont Ford Performance, one of the things that makes us a little different too about a lot of places that do this type of work is that we do dyno our car before and after so that you'll be able to see those increased numbers. Now, dyno sheets, you know, if you're familiar at all with those, you know that they can vary a lot, even from day to day, just depending on the temperature at the time, the humidity, the way the car was strapped down, a lot of factors there. But the main reason we're using the dyno is just to kind of verify that we do see the proper increase of numbers that Roush is recommending. I know a lot of other dealers don't do that. They just load the calibration, tell you, hey, it's rated at 750 horsepower. Have a great day, enjoy the car. We kind of want to show you those numbers. And it lets us know that the engine is, you know, healthy and capable of those increases in power and torque. So that's one thing that makes us different for sure. Now, some of the questions that I get about the Roush supercharger is, first off, once we do the supercharger install, you are going to want to run premium fuel. So 91 octane is the minimum. 93 is preferred to get the best performance out of it. So no more regular unleaded in the car. You're going to go with 91 or 93. And the other thing that changes is your oil. You are going to now be using 5W50 full synthetic oil. And personally, I recommend to stick with the Ford Motorcraft oil. It's obviously endorsed by Ford for warranty purposes. There are a couple of other brands of oil that you are okay to use under Ford's warranty, but personally I just stick with the Ford Motorcraft. So when we do the supercharger install, obviously you are getting fresh oil at that time, so you won't have to do an oil change until your normal time frame. Now, this is a personal thing on my end, but on a brand new car, I've always kind of gone with the idea that I still go ahead and do my first oil change at around 1,000 miles. It's up to you, but you don't have to. But then after that, I do my regular increments of oil change. So the other thing is on your oil cap, once we've done this install, it will now state that it is 5W50 full synthetic. So hopefully when you take it in, I'd still remind technicians, and depending on where you're taking it, if you're bringing it here, obviously we're going to know that, but it's amazing to me how many times I get a call from customers all over the country saying, hey, the dealership I took it to didn't seem to know what kind of oil to put in it. So you might want to make a note of that. The other little thing, when I mentioned the fuel before, there is a sticker that we also put inside the cover for the gas now, and the little I don't even know what you call this, but where you're sticking in the fuel thing, there's a new grommet or whatever you call it, the rubberish piece there is now going to be red, and it's going to indicate that you want premium fuel only. Just an extra little precaution to remind you not to put regular in it. So that leads me to a couple other questions that I get a lot of times. and that is sometimes about break-in. So on a brand new car, we're not looking at necessarily break-in for the supercharger itself. The break-in period is more about the car and the engine. So what I tell people here, we get customers from all over the country. Some of them, let's just hypothetically say they came in from Texas and they're going to drive the vehicle all the way home. So one of the first things I say is that for that first 500 to 1,000 miles, you're really going to want to try to vary your RPMs and speeds a lot. Don't get on the highway, just put it in cruise control and go, because you're going to want to break in that engine, and varying the RPMs a lot is part of that. So make sure you're doing that. The other thing is, during that break-in period, you know, it's not that you can't push down the pedal a little bit, if you know what I mean, and have some fun with the car, but you are going to always want to make sure that the car is up to proper temperatures before you do that. I will say that Roush has a safety feature built into their calibration that basically, my understanding is that if you do not get the car up to proper temperatures and you try to pound that pedal down, the car will not go into boost, and it's a safety feature. So once you get the temps up, you're good to go. So break-in, oil, fuel, probably some of the biggest questions I do get. And I get the question too of, do I need to do any further upgrades? Now, if you are really just going by the book here, Roush's calibration is designed around the whole idea of leaving the car stock. Because I get people that say, hey, I want to maybe upgrade the oil pump gears and sprocket. I'm not telling you you can't do that, but technically, if you do that, you are voiding Roush's warranty, because their whole calibration is designed around leaving the car stock. So there are upgrades that you can do, and obviously, you know, like a catback or an axle back exhaust, something like that's not going to affect anything. But you can't put headers on the car because it's going to require a custom tune. And if you do the custom tune, boom, you're also voiding that Roush warranty, and you're voiding your Ford warranty. So, you know, the whole idea is you are buying a car that you can leave stock, use for a daily driver, use for a weekend car or whatever, have tons of fun with it, have 300 more horsepower than it came with, and just have a fun car. And man, I'm telling you, a lot of times I think people don't realize how much more power and how much fun they're going to have with this car. So you may not need a whole lot more. Now, I do have another thing that I get questions on a lot of times. If you are have a car that is a performance pack or a premium car that came with a strut tower brace, I will tell you that once you've done the supercharger install, the strut tower brace will no longer be able to be used because it will not fit over the top of the supercharger. I've had some people try and tell me, well, I could put some spacers on there and lift it up a little bit, but I've never known anyone that's gotten that to work, because the other issue then is that your hood is not going to shut properly because of the strut tower brace. So, you know, just something that people do ask about, and I always say, hey, use that for garage art, you know, hang it up on the wall in the garage. So hopefully this has kind of answered some of the little basic questions I get a lot of times. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them down in the comments section, and you know, I'll try to get with you as soon as I can and answer any of your questions. But man, we'd love to do a performance build for you. Visit us at beechmontford.com and let's get this process started. I will add that if you are buying a brand new vehicle from us and adding the supercharger, one of the biggest benefits is you can roll that whole cost of the supercharger into your financing. And man, that's a heck of a benefit, because a lot of us don't have, you know, $11,000 sitting around in our piggy bank to come in and just install a supercharger. But hey, if you do, or you've got another way to do it, you know, we are happy to have you bring your car that you already own in and do the supercharger install, or your F-150. We've done tons of those. We've done them for people all over the country. We'd love to do one for you. All right, guys, Jeff Black, your BFP Dream Builder. Looking forward to hopefully dealing with you soon, and I look forward to it. All right, bye-bye.